What's up everybody, Teancum here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Today I'm going to show you how you make this awesome Modern Bear Paw Star. Let's get started. So to begin, let's go over the cutting instructions for this quilt block. Here in front of me, I've got a 10x10 square of my print fabric, a 10x10 of my background fabric, and a 4.5x4.5 of my background fabric square as well. What we're going to do is we're going to set aside our print fabric and we're going to work with our large 10x10 white square. So first we're going to need to put a couple markings on this block. What we're going to do is mark corner to corner and a diagonal line right across it, which is our first line. Our second line that we need is another diagonal, but starting at the line that we just made. So I'm going to start right here halfway into my block and go straight down. Hope you can see that real well in the camera, but I've got a line going this way. I've got a line starting at the line I just made going down. Our next step is to put our squares right sides together. So I'm going to put my 10-inch print down and I'm going to put this guy down right here. Right sides together. I'm going to sew on both sides of my line here. So just to clarify, I've marked the back side of my background fabric and I've laid these down right sides together. I'm going to sew on each side of my lines I've just marked. So now that I've sewn this, I'm going to move this over to my cutting mat. And I'm going to cut in between the lines, or my sew lines that I've just made. Starting with my long diagonal here. And then I'm going to cut this triangle in half. And now that we have these guys in half, we're going to make another square here. Just like this. And we're going to cut these on the diagonal as well. Which should give us a total of 5 half square triangles. 4 little ones and 1 big one. So I've got my big one here. And these guys should separate. Oh, it looks like I missed a piece. And we should have 4 little guys here. Now that these are cut, I'm going to take these over to our ironing board and press them out. So now that I have this pressed open, it's time to square up. We're going to use a block lock in this video today. And we want to square this block to an 8.5 by 8.5 square block. So let me grab my cutter here. And we're going to cut this other side, make sure we're all square. Now we can set this block aside. With the smaller half square triangles, we need to square these down to 4.5 by 4.5. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and square up all my blocks and we'll be right back. Now that I've finished squaring up our half square triangles, it's time to assemble our block. But first I like to lay out my block, that way I don't make any mistakes in the sewing process. What we're going to do is lay out our half square triangles around the larger half square triangle, with all of our small half square triangles points pointing up. Let me do these two right here as well. And then we need to grab that 4.5 by 4.5 background fabric that we cut in the beginning and put it right there in the corner. Now that we have our block in the construction that we want it to be, it's time to sew it together. The first thing that we're going to do is take 2 of our half square triangles, the smaller ones, put them right sides together and sew a 1/4 inch down. The next step is to sew these 2 half square triangles and our background fabric all together. Now that I have these pieces sewn, I'm going to take these over to the ironing board and press them out. So our next step is we're going to take our large half square triangle and our 2 small half square triangles, put them right sides together and sew all the way down. I'm going to take this to the ironing board and press it open real quick. Now I'm going to take my 3 pieces here, lay it right sides together, and sew all the way down. So here's what our first quilt block looks like. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my blocks and we'll be right back. So now that I finished piecing together all of my blocks, it's time to assemble the larger block. It's super easy to do. What we're going to do is take 4 of our blocks, as you can see here, and put our background fabrics together, our larger background fabrics. Then our next step, we're going to lay 2 of our blocks right sides together and sew all the way down. Now I'm going to repeat this process to the other side. Now that both sides are sewn, we're going to lay both sides right sides together. And then sew all the way down. So now I'm going to finish the other 5 of these and we'll be right back. So my quilt top is coming out great. I'm missing 2 blocks on the bottom, so what I'm going to do is just put them right sides together against my quilt top and sew all the way down, and then we'll be right back. So here's my quilt top. I love the way that it's turning out, and it's a super easy project to make. I'm going to finish up this quilt top by putting a simple border all the way around, just like the quilt behind me, and then I'm going to take it across the building to our in-house long armor to have it finished. If you've liked this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel. As always, I'm going to leave instructions on how to make this in the description below. My name's Teancum, teaching you how to sew like a pro. We'll see you here next week at Sew Yeah Quilting.